When we were growing up, women had no voice, didn't make a sound in the synagogue.
When I grew up, so much of the sacred literature was closed to women. And we didn't even know it. We didn't realize it. We just took it for granted.
When my sister and I was saying Kaddish for my mother for the 11 months, it was mostly a terrible experience.
When I'm in a mechitza that's the balcony and I'm looking down, I'm a spectator. It doesn't feel right to me.
Orthodox shuls are some of the unfriendliest places in the world.
I can't tell you what it feels like when you're in a room, often by yourself or with one other woman, and across the mechitza somebody says, "Anyone here a chiyuv? Anyone a chiyuv?" No chiyuv. You can't picture it. You can't picture being a full adult person and literally not counting.
From most of the history of the tradition, women have not been equal. Their lives are less valued, their education was less developed.
If you believe in the full potential of your children, why do you close off half the opportunities to one because she's a girl?
I don't want to be just like the men. We have our own role to play, but I don't want to be invisible either.
From 1984, when I went to a conference in Israel on women and halakha, I had in mind to organize a conference on Orthodoxy here in New York.
Just before the conference, there were 5 rabbis who declared that women's tefillah groups were asur, they were forbidden. So that became a rallying cry for men and women.
A number of friends and I attended, kind of very excited to really talk about the issues that concerned us and to hopefully make progress on issues.
I'll never forget walking into the Hyatt that day, and there were so many people.
I fell in love. I felt like I was at home. I felt like I was in a community surrounded by like-minded people who are passionate about Judaism, passionate about being religious and Orthodox and halakha, but we're interested in creating ways for women to have a voice.
A group came in together by car from St. Louis, another from Detroit. I think there was somebody from Alaska there. The nicest thing about it was I didn't feel lonely anymore.
And in the end, we had 1,400. And so the conference really gave birth to Jofa as an organization.
An institution like Jofa was needed to pull the threads together that were evolving within feminism.
Arguably one of the most important women's organizations in the Jewish community.
Nobody would have taken women seriously unless Jofa was there kind of behind the scenes, just pushing and pushing and pushing.
They sort of strike me like a think tank a little bit. They have conferences, they put out literature, they compile various viewpoints on halakha.
It is the Orthodox voice of women who want to have a greater share in religious and in institutional life.
Weddings are different because of us.
They want to learn, they want to educate, they want to celebrate Jewish life, and I think that's a very positive value.
The learning opportunities that have become available, the liturgical changes that have occurred, allowing women to say Kaddish in more shuls.
Jofa is trying to shape the young minds of children through the gender-sensitive curriculum that I worked on many years ago.
I said, let's think about running a workshop or college teachers where we teach a slightly different approach to halacha, a broader approach, one that has sources which empowers the women to actually understand what they're learning. And at the end of those 4 days, those women left here totally different college teachers than when they walked in.
We offer women the opportunity to speak, to write publicly.
The first time I davened and said Kaddish, and they were answering me, I started to cry so hard. I mean, it was such an emotional thing.
One of my proudest moments is in 6th grade, the boys in school had an evening where they learned to have an aliyah. And my son went up and he gave them his name, his father's name, and my name.
How does that make you feel?
Proud.
The possibility of Orthodox feminism is saying that our whole being is part of our orthodoxy and that we don't have to hold ourselves back.
I try very hard to teach women that they shouldn't be afraid to speak up with their money.
We are mothers and daughters and grandmothers. We are 51% of the population. We're important.
What feminism is really about is about the fullness of opportunity, the fullness of dignity, the fullness of contribution of women.
Equality is about the dignity of a human being. If a man can actually find a way to torture his wife through halacha, that's not justice.
One aguna in the world is one aguna far too many.
It's a clear case of real heart-ripping social injustice that we need to find a solution for.
We want to make change, as we always say, within halacha. It's halacha, it has to move.
People in my age range and younger than me are afraid of the word feminism, and I get that question all the time, are you a feminist? And my response is, if feminism means creating a more cohesive and inclusive community, then absolutely, I'm a feminist.
There's a lot more to be done. You know, the work is not finished, not by a long shot. But you can't help but take pride in some of these accomplishments.
There's no one else who does what we do. We are the voice of Orthodox feminism.